Wait, are you are you gonna count me in? Whatever. I'm just gonna go for it. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and as a child of the 80s, I'd love to say queens rule, but they don't. Queens lead. Being a queen means you are worthy to be a leader of people. The guests on our show do exactly that. They are leading the way in their businesses, families, and communities. And they're taking their rightful place in the spotlight, leading and inspiring the developing queens in all of us. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast.
Now here's your host, Amy Singleton, the queen of realness, leading conversations about business, life, and the real shit you want to know.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and today we are very blessed to be joined by Jana Short. She is direct to us from LA, where it's 70 degrees and she is freezing. And I'm feeling the same thing because we had snow yesterday. Welcome, Jana.
Thank you, Amy. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to give you this platform because you give a platform to so many other people, especially women. Like, I'm excited to have you on to tell your story.
You know what? I always love sharing my story because I believe our stories are given to us for a reason. And when we share them, I say this all the time, it's like heartbeats we put out into the world to give others hope. And I was told today while I was drinking my tea that I literally drink from a cup full of hope every day.
Oh my gosh, you do.
Every day.
Mine was a cup of judgment today. Thou shalt not snivel. That's awesome. Have hope and don't snivel about it. I like it. So tell everybody who you are today so they can kind of get an idea of your story that will then rewind back on and let you tell from the beginning.
Well, today I'm the editor-in-chief of Best Holistic Life magazine. We have 1.5 million subscribers now, and we started in 2019. I'm also a best-selling author and a coach. So those are what I do today.
Yeah. And you coach people through their brand strategy. Is that right?
I do. I'm a brand strategist, and it's mostly for online businesses because it's very hard to make a human connection. And it's a very hard platform to build trust and rapport. And so I help people stop pitching and selling and start really making those connections.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I would love to know more about that. Maybe we can get to that at the end and whenever we give out a couple of freebies, but let's take it back. So who was Jana? Who was little girl Jana? Take us there.
So little girl Jana grew up with a brother and a sister. I was the oldest. And, I lost my brother at the age of 16. He was 14. And it really changed my perspective in life. And you know how there's doors that are open. We have many doors open to us, and we always choose to walk through one or the other. And the first couple of doors after he passed away that I walked through at 16 were maybe not the best doors for me. Back, it's exactly what I needed to deal with the world that I'm in today. So I'm super grateful that I had the opportunity to have all those doors and be able to make those choices.
That's great. So some of the choices that I think a lot of people use the word regret a lot, but I'm in the same boat with you. Like, all of the choices I made have absolutely led me to where I am today. And without even one of those trials, I don't think life wouldn't look the same.
I have no regrets either. And I say this all the time because people are like, what would you change? And sitting on a panel one time, we were asked that, and I heard a lot of people say, oh, I would change everything. I would change nothing. It made me who I am. I would go back and I would change everything because I have so much more knowledge now, and I would do it better, which is what we're supposed to do. We take all of that information, and the next opportunity we have to deal with that situation, we bring more into play. And so we're able to do better. So you should change everything.
Yeah. Like, if you get to do it again, like, take the knowledge you have, right? So what led you? What was like your first jobs? Do you always know you were going to be an entrepreneur?
No.
Well, like, totally fell into it, I'm sure, like so many of us do.
Yes, I was, by the way, I was a 16-year-old mom. So
wow,
that was
okay.
the doors that I walked through. I have a 45-year-old daughter now. And so one of those doors I walked through was teenage pregnancy. Having said that, my very first job, I applied at a law firm as a legal secretary at think I was 19. And 3 days into the job, I got called into the office and they said, Jana, you don't know how to type, do you? I'm like, well, you never asked. And so I spent 3 days trying to type a letter. But my next job was working at the courthouse as in the jury assembly room, which was kind of phenomenal. I worked my way up to being a judge's secretary, but I didn't like punching the clock. I had a creative side of me. I was going through college the whole time, getting a degree in interior design, and I left and became an interior designer when I finished school. I built a very large business for myself here. And I remember I got out of a Bentley and I had the Louis Vuittons and the Hermes bags. And I'd walk up to my new client's door knowing this is success. Like they're going to see all this and they're going to help me, right? Because I perceived visually, not with my heart, not with connecting. And I would get hired and I built a very successful career. But in my 50s, I had something that knocked me down flat. I had a little minor surgery that turned into a disaster. I had to have my stomach completely removed. I was being fed through a feeding tube, something called TPN, which is synthetic. I love that we have this in our arsenal to help people survive through comas and things like that. But for me, it was shutting my organs down and my body did not like it.
Yeah.
So after 3 months in the hospital, I was sent home to be in hospice care, basically.
Oh my goodness.
I came home and I had my 5th grandchild. I was at his birth and then a week later went in for surgery and didn't come out of the hospital like I had expected the same way. And my daughter brought him to see me. And I thought, how will I make a memory with him before I die? How do I make that one memory? And I realized that the Bentley and Louis Vuittons, Hermes bags, I wasn't taking any of that with me. At that last moment, I was begging and praying for the opportunity to create a memory with a 3-month-old that would be able to have a giggle with me, a smell, anything that they could relate to and connect as, their grandma figure. And so I went on a journey to do that. I got online, I typed in the words, desperate for health answers, looking for holistic health options, because Western medicine wasn't able to support what I needed. And the whole world opened up to me. Like, where can I type in a few words and have the entire world open up to me? Also, when I opened that door, a lot of crazy came in.
I'll bet.
Right. There were people who rolled out of bed and said, oh, wow, people in the holistic field are making a ton of money. I'm going to do that. And they were putting themselves as naturopaths, homeopaths. And fortunately for me, my husband's a veterinarian, so he has some background in medicine. 2 of my daughters were in med school. My ex-husband is an internist. So I was able to navigate through a lot of what was real and what wasn't real. And they weren't wasting money. Again, I'm not taking that with me. They were wasting something so valuable to me that I didn't have, and it was my time. And I did find something that helped me. And here I am that over a decade later, and all I knew is I was showing up different. I wanted to open the door and offer hope because I knew what it felt like to get that death notice, right? So people are told, like, you have 6 months, you have 8 months, you have 3 weeks, whatever that is that they're telling you, put it out of your head and just live in the moment. And I have strung those moments together for over a decade now. And for me, success and wealth is creating joy in my heart, creating lasting memories and change with the people I come in contact with. That for me is something I feel I'll take and something I definitely will leave behind.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Like, we could just end this entire episode right there. Take everything she just said and duplicate it to your life and just live. I mean, because you are absolutely so right. Like, we have a similar background in that I am adjacent to medicine. I was a registered nurse have been for over 20 years, did open heart surgeries. I myself was on the verge of being the person on that table at almost 300 pounds and had to start seeking out health things for myself. And not only as a provider of healthcare, but then I became a consumer of healthcare. And oh my gosh, the overwhelming information, and you just don't know what to believe. So many people hold their doctor or their provider in such esteem and just take what they say at face value. And I know even I haven't worked in nursing in over a decade, but my family still comes to me when they have a procedure or an operation or an appointment. Like, we need an advocate. We need someone here that knows how to speak this language, that can navigate this road, because we know that ultimately the only person looking out for our best interest is us, right? I mean, the doctors try, but they don't have the bandwidth nowadays to really serve in the way that you're talking about and really navigating every single option.
It is tricky, and having an advocate, again, having my husband there was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The two daughters that were in med school, they told me, Mom, all we got for nutrition was a semester in med school. And that was literally,
What?
yes, that's all they get. And there's a
One
lot to learn.
semester?
There's a lot to learn about the body, right? So I kind of get it. And they said the
Oh,
only
yeah.
reason we got nutrition was how it interacts with medications. And that was our whole semester, was how
Oh, my
medications
word.
interact. Those two daughters, I'm so proud of them. They are now DNMs, doctors of natural medicine, with
Wow.
PhDs in nutrition, and they are crushing it. And
And they
I'm
are
very
changing
proud of them.
lives of
They
people.
are. They are totally. They're like, I want to be,
Wow.
not that we don't love modern medicine, but we want to be
Sure.
on a holistic side that prevents you from needing those things as long as possible. It gives you
That's
opportunity
absolutely
to
right.
have
That's
choices.
Yes, that I have an aquaponics grower client who they grow all this healthy organic, like herbs and vegetables and stuff. And he used this terminology that he's really looking for people who are health conscious and not health concerned. And I really think that's a beautiful shift that we're seeing with this holistic medicine, is people that are conscious of their health before they have to become concerned with it.
100%. And by the way, I just want to take a shout out and say, providing yourself proper care for yourself, self-care, is key. And I know, believe me, I know, as a 16-year-old mom, single mom in college, working 3 jobs, it was very hard, and I didn't. And my health
Yeah.
later, it showed up.
Yeah,
So I
right.
want to make sure that you understand that healthcare, self-care is not selfish. It's the least selfish thing you can do for yourself. If
Yeah,
you need to go to the gym 3 days a week to feel healthy, if you need to get out and walk every day to feel healthy, you need to do those things for yourself and let everything else wait.
that's
So
right.
healthcare is super important. And as far as self-care, it is not selfish to put yourself and your health first.
That's right. Yeah, it's really hard for moms, and I mean, it's everyone, but we put it off, and you're right, it absolutely catches up to you. So tell me then, after all of that, and you found help and all of that, so I can see now where this direction changed. How did that transition from interior design to wellness and all of this happen in your career?
Well, I went back to school at 50. So for those of you who think life's slowing down at
Awesome.
50s, if you're still breathing, be bold, get out there and do what you're
Yes.
passionate about. So I went back to school and I wanted to understand, why am I still here? What is it that shifted in my brain? And I know that everything that we do in life, all the answers lie between those beautiful ears of ours and how we want to project it into the world. And I wanted to know, why am I still here? Why? And so I became a mindset coach. I wanted to understand language. So I went to NLP and became a master NLP practitioner,
Yes.
a hypnotherapist, because I understand our brains lock the keys to everything we want. And we have the keys. All we have
We
to
do.
do is be brave enough to put it in the door and twist it. And so for me, that became super important. So I started coaching, and I realized all the sales pitches that came to me, how some of those could have helped me. And I turned my back because they were so pitchy and no one took the time to make a real connection. And so I
Mm.
wanted to know, how do we do that? How do we use our brain and unlock some of those doors to be an actual human being on social media, to really connect with people? And I went back to school and I started learning more about brands and strategies and how they're doing it in the real world. If I walk into your store, I see your face, immediately it diffuses any thoughts I may have. They're friendly or they're not, and it draws me in. How do we do that? People buy emotions. They buy results. They, like, if you guys have ever been up late at night and saw that eye cream where they just tap their eye and wait, and 3 seconds later it's gone.
Perfect.
I ordered it. It didn't work, but it looked good. But I bought a result, right? So you see the heavy girl to the skinny girl, the wrinkles to the no wrinkles, right? The luxurious hair to the like going bald. How do we do that though for health and wellness? How do we start connecting for mental health, for physical health, for spiritual well-being? It's not just one thing in my journey. It was a multitude of things that I needed to work on in myself. And I'm so glad that the process isn't over until it's over, right? Like,
that's right.
Constantly growing.
Oh my gosh. And this was in 2019 when everything launched, the magazine launched in 2019.
So the magazine came out of being super lazy. I was coaching a lot. As a matter of fact, I was booked 2 years in advance and I was
my gosh,
feeling awesome about it, right? But my grandson called me and said, Nana, I have a play. This is a grandson that I fought to make a memory with. Can you come? Absolutely. Then I looked at my calendar and I'm like, okay, they're in Palm Springs. That's 2 hours away, one way. Then I have to be there. I have to block out my whole day. Where do I put these people? And I cried. This isn't what I survived for. I want to help others. But how do I do it and give myself the freedom to have a life? And so the magazine, when I started pulling back on my coaching, they said, can you do a newsletter? Can you just like give us monthly tips on how we can strategize our branding? And I didn't want to do that. I didn't have time. Like I didn't want to add it into my calendar. So I had some celebrity clients at the time and some major influencers. And I said, hey, why don't you write an article about what you learned? And so I got 35 articles. And this is so weird, this number 35. I got 35 articles. I went into Canva and I have this background in design and I can't just throw anything out there. So I thought, well, I can make it look like a magazine, send it out in a PDF as a newsletter instead. So I made this little magazine and I had people sign in to get it, to the newsletter. And we got 35,000 subscribers to the very first one.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
So I know. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is a thing.
Something here. Okay. Yeah.
So we released that year in 2019, we released 4 issues. We did it seasonally and we got, I think it was 170,000 subscribers at the end of the year.
Wow.
So we added a couple issues the second year and then we started releasing month to month after that. And we've been doing it month to month for the last 3 years. We're super excited to have the stories go out, hear the stories come back from the people who have healed something in their lives because of something they read. It just makes me feel really good. And we have some really rules about writing. I know you wrote for us. We have really rules about writing because I've been down that road. No curative claims of any kind and no types of not diagnosing, because we want to make sure we do no harm. We're just educating, open the door to new possibilities, giving people the thought of hope. I don't have to be stuck here. Maybe I can step here and try something new. So that's pretty much what we do at the magazine.
I love that. And the collaborative nature, especially the way it started from those that you've taught. I mean, what better definition of an entrepreneur, a leader, a queen leader, to take what you've given to others and then they're giving it to others. And it just is so exponential, the impact that you're having through teaching a few. Now, so many more are just receiving from that.
For me, it's a huge heartbeat to the world. Like, what do you leave as a legacy? When I interview people to work with them, I ask them a couple of things. So if they're doing a cover, I work with them twice a month. And I ask them, why do you want to do a cover? If they tell me they want more followers, if they tell me it's just pushing sales, they're not my client. If they tell me they want to grow their brand, their message, those are the people I want to get behind. Those are the people I want to help, because I know the other people may be invested too, but I know their clients come first. I know they're invested about sharing. Something happened in their life that was like me, a transformative moment that changed the way that they show up and serve others. And so I get really excited about those people, because the thing is, we're all influencers, whether we have 12 followers or 20 million followers. People are watching us. So we have to show up as our best us. And if it's not our best us, we have to say, today's not my best day, but I'm going to be better tomorrow, right? But I'm okay. It's okay. but we have
That's
to
it.
show up that way for others because they're watching us. I know my grandkids are watching us, and I try to do better for them. And my kids, they're following in our footsteps even though we don't realize they're watching.
That's right. And I mean, so many people talk about leaving that legacy behind. And so often it's fueled by, achievements or money or status. And to me, the best legacy you can leave behind is the knowledge of something you lived through hell and came out on the other side and can give that gift of extra life, extra health, extra strength or vibrancy to somebody else. What a legacy to continue that on.
Look, Amy, I am more proud of my last decade than the 50 years prior. I'm more
Yeah.
proud that I show up with a service heart, right? Like, how can I help you? I'm more proud of the fact that I listen before I start speaking, right? I really receive. And I'm really proud of the fact that at 50, like we should be like, I'm now in my 60s. We should be slowing down and taking, it's slowing back, but I'm not. I'm pushing forward for more.
Yeah.
So, and I looked at a picture of my grandmother at my mom's second wedding, and she had to be my age or younger, and they look so old because they're tired.
They're exhausted.
Yes.
Even my grandmother's like senior picture, she looks like a 35-year-old woman in that picture. Seriously. These poor women were exhausted. Oh my gosh. I love it. So tell us are you still coaching some?
I do coach. I only coach people who are either regular writers. I meet with them once a month about their brand strategy, how they're writing, how they're connecting with others. And when someone does a cover with me, here's the thing. When you do a cover, there's a couple of reasons you want one. One, to be recognized, right? Two, to start building trust and rapport with clients. There's a few reasons. Some people just want it because they're like, that's who they are. They just want to see their face on a cover. And I totally get that. I really do understand that. But for me, it's about brand recognition and it's about building trust and rapport. So I work with them for a year, usually prior and few months after, to help them with getting ready. Because what happens if you're the June cover? What happens in July? A new cover comes out and nobody remembers who the heck you were. Like time marches right over you. And so if you want to make yourself relevant, you have to start working on and putting yourself out there. You're like your best foot forward every single day, prior and after, to keep relevant and to keep moving that ball forward.
So can you tell us just a tip on if someone is trying to build their brand online and they are largely online, a coach, a solopreneur, someone that they are the face and everything of their business. What is the best advice you can give to that person who's just starting out with that?
Be honest. So for those of you, I get this all the time, who send out photos or post photos that are so morphed that they're not going to recognize you, and you're selling, mindset and health and all this. You think they're going to trust you when they meet you on Zoom? Heck no. Be honest, love who you are. And I'm telling you what, people will accept that. Like they're going to be so thrilled that you are the person that showed up. So be honest in all platforms. If you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. People have bad days. I don't show up perfect every single day. Actually, I never show up perfect, but sometimes I'm just a hot mess, but I still show up and I'm like, hey, tomorrow's going to be a better day. And I'm learning something. I just got to figure out what that is. So I can be past it, but be honest when you're doing it and be consistent with who you are. And when I say branding, you guys will get businesses, apps, all these beautiful things that you brand. You are actually the brand. So I fell into this trap at the very beginning and I branded so many different things. It was like giving your baby a name, right? And baby out there and you're showing, it's like opening the photos. This is my daughter eating her first bite and taking her first step. And we do that on social media, but you are the brand. And as you grow and as you learn, you're still the brand. So when you're selling a brand, it should always be you. Your foot forward. They want to know who they're trusting when they join your fitness app. They want to know who they're trusting when they ask for mental health questions, right? You have to open the door and be reachable. And here's the other thing. people connect with familiarity. So me being a single mom, do you know how many people reached out to me when I finally was able to share that on a podcast? So many
Yeah.
women reached out to me and said, I'm so ashamed. Like, I am not ashamed of my daughter. She has a PhD. She's raising 3 beautiful boys. She's phenomenal. And she is not a mistake. She's exactly
right.
what I needed to anchor me after my brother passed away and help me hold on to this crazy world I wasn't understanding. And so she
Yes.
was a gift, not a mistake. She
That's
was a lot of
right.
work. But
Yeah.
you share those heartbeat stories. Yeah, I know, me too, right? And you
Yes.
connect with them on an emotional way. You've opened the doors for them to be able to walk through and connect with you.
That's
So
right.
those are some of the tips I would give you when you're sharing on social media.
That's so good. And, I was just having this conversation with someone on their podcast earlier today that, like you said, people connect with people. We do business with people and we think we're so alone and we try to put on this great face and have this business meeting. But you just let down your guard and be like, you know what? Got my 165-pound dog just walked behind me. I saw that, like I have a dog. So do you, I have bad days. And the other piece to that, like you said, it's like a magnet of attraction. But when people are, especially women, are starting out in business, I think we have this, well, first of all, we have a desperation sometimes to us, like we'll work with anybody that'll pay us, like whatever it is we're doing, like just anybody. But then you find out very quickly that when you attract someone that you do not have similar values with, that doesn't really like you and you don't really like them, it's always, always, always a failure. It never works out for either party. So attracting those people who don't mind that I have a nose ring and tattoos, or that don't mind that you were a single mom, or don't mind that I've been divorced and remarried, or love the fact that I'm open about my weight loss journey. Those are my people. And we want to repel those that we don't want to do business with anyway, right?
100%. By the way, I know when you did the article, I always require everyone meets with me for 15 minutes because I want to feel their energy. I want to make sure they're a good fit for the magazine. And I trust my instinct. And the 2 times that I did not, I was miserable. It was
Oh,
so much
yeah.
work. So now I just trust, like I trust my gut, I trust my instinct. And that energy that is attracted into the magazine is one of the reasons I feel like it does so well. And I will tell you, sharing your stories in 2019, I wrote a book called Oh My Health, There Is Hope. And then I created a podcast after it because it became a bestseller, an international bestseller, and I couldn't understand why. I realized it was the stories of people's failures and
Mm.
what they did and how they came out of it and what doors it opened up for them. I realized that that's what it was, and I didn't want to stop sharing those stories. So we're on our 539th episode, I think, and still
Wow.
get about 30,000 downloads an episode. And it's because people connect to
Yes.
you falling down and picking yourself up. If you are
Mm.
showing up on stage always perfect, no one relates to that.
Right. We're
And
going, oh,
I have been sitting in the audiences of some of those people thinking, they don't understand what I'm going through. Like my kids are in the car screaming and I got 5 minutes to do this. And like, they don't
yes.
understand. Right. So
Right.
I think it's important for you to share like those real genuine moments that were life changing for you that you may have struggled with more than once sometimes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I had a mom tell me, yeah, I was not only a single mom, I had 3 kids before I was married under the age of 20. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, like, I take my hat off to you. How'd you do that? I mean,
Right.
I did that, but how did you take care of 3 kids? Like, it's
Right.
amazing. And now she's a motivational speaker and she's a powerhouse.
Right.
So she used that for growth.
As my mindset coach has told me, when you've suffered enough, you get it. You have to have been through some stuff. It's a different level for everybody, but you finally get it at some point. Would you like to share one of your failures in business early on? Something that might help someone else?
Yeah, it was
Mm.
undervaluing myself as a coach. And we all do that. And I notice that when my clients come in and they're not selling, not selling, not selling, and we don't like to call it selling, I call it serving. When
Mhm.
someone works with me, I'm giving them a service, right? I'm serving them to do whatever it is that we've agreed that I'm going to help them do.
Yeah.
And so when they did, I understood that they didn't feel like they were worth what they were putting out there. And so I always use this little um, kind of visual help with them. And I tell them, when I went to college, I was 17 I went to Chico State and I had a baby on my hip. And I literally was counting pennies paying tuition, like literally paying my tuition to go to college all on my own. And they never said, oh, look, she has a baby. I don't know if I should charge her that. What are we going to do? Like, no, they were like, you want to go here? This is what you pay because
here's the bill
to get, right? You're going to get this degree to move forward and do these and create an income for yourself. So when you have gone and done all your schooling and your education, you've built this beautiful place of healing or hope or whatever that service is you're offering, own that. People, when you doubt yourself, will doubt you. So remember that energy you put out is what you attract. But when you show up, this is the best. I'm awesome. And I know I can help these people. And you put off that energy, you will open the door. So my biggest mistake was not valuing myself. And thinking, what do I have? Why am I doing this? You know, I was just this girl that got sick. I did go back to school and I do have the extra degrees, but I don't know. I'm an interior designer. What do I say?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Incredible. Undervaluing yourself, not charging enough, not, I think a lot of us end up in that, the curse of knowledge. And we think, well, of course everybody knows what I know because you've studied so hard to get there and you've honed your craft and your service to the point that it's second nature. And that's what you're being paid for.
One of the tips I'll give you to really boost your business is something I call give, ask. If you have a big ask, so your programs are like $5,000, $10,000, you need to have big gives, right? You can't just say, here's your PDF. If you pay for this, give, ask. And the give should be literally experiencing what it would be like to be in that system, be working with you. And so I do a give, ask. And when I teach my clients to do their give, ask, they're like, that won't work. Really? If you're at my table, you went to
did.
So I will say it works. You pay a lot of money because I gave you examples of what it would be like to work with me, how I show up for you. I built trust rapport through those gives. And then when I asked, you were not hesitant. You just said yes. So prepare a give, ask. Keep in mind what it is you're offering as a ask. And when you give, make sure it's giving samples of what that would be like to be there, what that freedom would look like. If it's weight loss, do a quick, 1 week trial or something like that, where they get the experience with you and they can learn to love you and realize you're going to show up for them. So give acts are huge when you're selling online. It gives people an opportunity to get to know you.
That's so good. And then your content, you're being real, all your vulnerability is what's going to draw them in or repel the wrong ones away. I love it. On the note of giving, you have a thing for us that comes out with each article. Is that right? Our coaching boost. Tell us about that.
I offer a free coaching boost on my website, Jana at janashort.com. And you just go to coaching boost. Each month I write an article about brand recognition. Sometimes it's mindset stuff. And then I do a 5-minute video giving you some tips on how, like the give, ask was on there a while ago, and I know we'll do it again. But there will be tips on how you can do that. And it's free. Just click it. I have a video that's new each month. They're just 5-minute takeaways. Plus the article will be linked there. So if you want more details out of the article, you can get it.
Love it. Thank you so much. What a valuable resource. And are we able to see the old ones or is it just updates monthly?
Updates monthly.
So you got to go every single month. You got to go there and get it.
Well, we do post them afterwards on YouTube. So you can go find them on YouTube.
Okay. So go and follow the real time at janashort.com for the real time, and then go over and subscribe to her YouTube channel to get the older stuff. I love that. That way you don't miss a thing. I love it. Jana, thank you so much for being on the show today and for telling your story. What a beautiful, beautiful, impactful story of embracing all of the things you've been through and overcoming and impacting more and more people. Thank you so much for being my guest and for being a queen that leads.
The Queens Lead podcast is recorded worldwide and produced by the kick-ass media team at the Height Digital home base in Nicaragua. Until our next episode, stay real, Queens, and go lead. Remember to tap that follow and leave your review. For freebies and more real, inspiring content you love, go to amysingleton.net and connect with Amy on our socials at @TheRealAmySingleton.
One more thing. This is the legal language, what my lawyer wrote and what I need to read to you. This podcast is presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am Amy Singleton, and I'm just your friend. Although I may speak to many on this show, I am not a psychotherapist, a business coach, a doctor, a CPA, a lawyer, or probably anyone who should be giving you professional advice. This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your doctor, coach, or any other licensed professional. Got it? Good. Now go be a queen and follow me at The Real Amy Singleton.